But that was just the first game. Maybe things will get better next time with Dragon Ball Shenron No Nazo. Just end me now.
Well, we're already at the second game and I want to fucking die. But I can't turn back now. The second ever Dragon Ball game was Dragon Ball Shenron No Nazo, developed by Toei Software for the Famicom on November 27th, 1986. This is oddly an exact month after Dragon Daihiki was released. Shenron no Nazo translates out to be Shenron's Riddle, a riddle I don't want to answer. The strange thing is that this is actually the first Dragon Ball game released in the US, but not in the way you would think. America wouldn't see the Dragon Ball anime until a year later, so when Shenron no Nazo was released in America on March of 1988, they had to change the name to something that wouldn't confuse people. It was called Dragon Power, and it had no real connection to Dragon Ball, other than both protagonists are half monkey, and Bulma is hanging around for some reason. We won't be covering Dragon Power as the translation is utter shit and has no relation to Dragon Ball. We'll just be looking at the original in full Japanese. There is a supposed patch to translate the whole game, but it messes up all the graphics while playing, so we'll just assume what's happening. Just gotta say that all of the footage from my first playthrough got corrupted, so if the video doesn't line up exactly with my points, then you'll know why. Never record OBS to output an FLV, you'll get fucked. Another rendition of Mystical Adventure dawns the title screen as we enter into this travesty of a game. I'm going to be purely frank here. This game is horrible. It may not look too shabby, but as I walk you through this whole adventure, you will learn how god-awful everything is. As the game begins, Bulma and Goku speak a language I don't understand, but I think I can get the gist of it. They just met and now are going to get the rest of the balls, basically making this the first rendition of the Pilaf saga in any game. To start off, the graphics look alright for the time. Not as good as the Famicom could do, but passable for 1986. If you look up in the left-hand corner, you can see the POW number. This acts as your health and your hunger meter. Yes, hunger is back from Daihikyo and is 10 times worse. You lose health not only when you're hit, but also when you stand around like a dumbass. Goku's health drains the longer he's in the level, so you have to run as fast as you can. You can of course move, jump with A, and punch with B. All enemies will die in one hit, so all you need to do is keep your distance and punch. I wish that was it, but our old friend Hit Detection wants to fuck us up again. It seems pretty easy to hit the enemies, but they seem to have longer arms as they can hit you even when you seem so far away. Along with that, they do a shit ton of damage and waste you pretty easy. Hard-hitting enemies and draining health suck, but you do have something to help you. Scattered around and given by enemies are capsules containing points, food for more health, panties to make you run faster, and Goku's trusty power pole in order to actually hit enemies. That's about all the help you're getting until later into the game. After you defeat some enemies and walk into holes in the wall, you'll sometimes enter into a boss fight. That's where the game turns into a 2D fighter, a bad one, and you have to beat the shit out of random things. They're pretty easy to jump over and hit, but along with the regular enemies, they hit hard, very hard. The strat here is just to jump around them and hit them on their backs, hoping to run away so you can avoid their hits. Another variation is that sometimes bosses have things flying around them, so that the jump strat becomes useless. The best way to defeat them is just to survive as long as you can throughout the stage, conserving health, and then bodying the boss until it dies. Other than that, the first level is quite simple, but still hard. It only gets worse from here. During the next level, you're introduced to Turtle and are forced to save a village from Oolong. Sadly, the village is suicidal as they keep attacking Goku and lock them out of their homes. And at the same time, you learn this game's greatest flaw. Where the fuck do I go? Because of the Japanese language, I have no idea where to go. And guess what? It's actually fucking stupid. First, finding Turtle is a pain in its own right, as you have to hit a random rock a bunch of times. After hitting it a couple times, I decided it wouldn't work, so I moved on to hitting walls. But guess what? You just have to hit him more until he wakes the fuck up. Nothing tells you this, so good luck. After beating on Turtle, you're taught that you can go inside buildings. Good game design, teaching the player what they can do. Immediately afterwards, you go into doors that hold nothing. so that lesson was worthless as you get nothing out of it. Then you find houses you can't go into, so you're fucking stuck. I don't know the real way of getting past these houses because I randomly used a power-up that spawned me past them. Jason from After the Corrupt here. I figured it out. Find Oolong in 3 random houses and pick up a key. Then you can enter the houses. The fuck? After that, you're brought to a monastery and are forced to kill everyone. No one tells you that either. Once you go into the monastery, you learn the 3rd playstyle, searching through rooms. This is pretty easy. Just break everything, and doing that will make Oolong appear, and you're sent to the next level. And now, level 3. The one that broke me. The combination of shitty enemies, draining health, and barely any direction made me want to die. I'll walk you through it. First, I started by running to the end of the stage. This one taking place where Yamcha steals the Dragon Balls, and Goku has to get them all back. I ran across Yamcha and Puar just floating around. I thought that I was already at the boss, but apparently, I wasn't, as when I killed them, nothing happened. I ran all the way to the end to find a locked door and a couple of open ones, so I thought, I gotta go in there, I guess. When I went in, I was attacked by bees with a Dragon Ball placed at the bottom. I learned that I'd have to get the Dragon Balls, but getting there would be hell. I had less than 10 health left, and it was draining. I also had to get through 3 very fast bees without getting hurt, and also do it fast enough for my health not to drain. I kept trying and learned that the continue feature really does work. Once at the title screen after a death, yes, only 1 life, you can pick continue and it instantly brings you back to the stage you died on. Useful. After a million tries and a million save state reloading, yeah, I save stated. I admit I'm a pussy, but I don't give a shit. You do the same. I got the Dragon Ball, but guess what? The door still wasn't open. Fuck, I needed to get more. After searching the whole map and dying a bunch, I said fuck it and just looked up a walkthrough to get through a level, which I used for the rest of the game. Even after figuring out where the Dragon Balls were, I still couldn't get to them all without dying or starving. After 2 hours, I gave the fuck up and just wanted to get this shit game over with. I looked up cheats for infinite health, but none of the codes worked. I found a code for more health, but that didn't help much. I went back to retrying until I found a random YouTube video that showed off an invincibility thing, but it wasn't in Game Genie or Action Replay code form. So I kept searching until I figured out the code he used wasn't for either, it was actually used to change the address in game files. After doing that, it actually worked, and I could move on from this horrible level. Ding, bang, boom, beat the shit out of Yamcha, and done. The door was open. After a final fight with Yamcha, I could move on to level 4. I also didn't turn the code off because FUCK THIS GAME! The next level I'm actually okay with. It's just a straight line with you just needing to defeat all the enemies at a certain point. At this point in the story, the gang is at the fire that Master Roshi puts out with the Kamehameha, and Goku supposedly learns the Kamehameha, but because of the Japanese, you won't know how to use it unless you look it up. I didn't because I'm a dirty cheater, so other than that, you meet Roshi and also run into Chi-Chi? She's just running around a castle, throwing her blade and doing nothing. After killing Chi-Chi twice and fucking up the timeline, Goku goes and fights Ox King and kills him as well, moving on to the next stage. The next stage is where that rabbit guy attacks a town and turns everybody into carrots. You run after him until he gets to a locked door. Again, you have to look for things, and you look for carrots in random houses to unlock the door. The best way to beat this part is just to look for the carrots along the way in these 4 houses shown. After that, you go to fight the rabbit, and if he touches you once, you will instantly die and turn into a carrot. Where was this guy during the Cell games? This would have made every situation much easier, as he would have just turned everybody into carrots and killed them. Hell, Majin Buu took his shit by turning everybody into candy. Rabbit Guy didn't copyright his shtick, so I won't call out Buu for doing the same exact thing. At the top of the level is a power pole, so you can avoid the rabbit and get the pole. Now, killing him normally is pretty hard, but there is a way to lock him into a pattern and kill him. Get the pole as fast as you can and head back down. Once you're in the right spot, all he will do is jump back and forth, so you just hit him every time he jumps over, and you can cheese this boss. Then we get to Pilaf's castle, and it's straightforward. Avoid everything and get to the end of the stage doors. Each time you'll have to reach Pilaf and release him, but it's just platforming. Be patient and learn that fire doesn't kill you instantly, and you'll be fine. The only bullshit part is that if you fall through a hole, you have to do the entire stage again. So there's that. Also, Mai is naked after you kick her ass, so Japan. The next few levels encompass the first tournament saga, except for the battle against Roshi at the end, so it's just a boss rush. You face a random guy, Krillin, Yamcha, and that's it. After those levels, you go searching for the 4-star Dragon Ball because Grandpa, and fail many times. You even run into Rabbit Guy for revenge, and you can't cheese him like last time. but you can still lock him into a pattern by dodging constantly. Now that I think about it, maybe he's not useful, because how fucking dumb he is. Also, Blackface shows up as well. The final level has nothing to do with anything, and is just a gauntlet. At first, I thought it was the tower from the Red Ribbon Saga, but no red ribbons appear, so it's just bullshit. It's hard with all the enemies in the distance, but it does hold an Easter egg. On the way up the tower, you run into a green, bald-headed guy named Krillin. He was drawn by Akira Toriyama himself for the game, and is meant to be a rival character for Krillin. He was never used in anything ever again, and is barely around. Once you get to the top, you beat up a robot and get the Dragon Balls. You get the Dragon Balls 2 times during the story. Each time you can choose what to wish for. The first time you can change the title screen, time travel to the second rabbit encounter. This one might be good. A power-up, and the ability to look at the panties scene where Roshi bleeds everywhere. The second time you can change the title screen, time travel to the beginning of the game, get the panties again, or watch a scene where Roshi touches Oolong disguised as Bulma. The ending is pretty basic, with the game showing Pilaf talking about something, and then just jumping back to the title screen, wanting you to play again. Happily, I will never play this game again. Maybe I will. I can't see the future. The game is pretty bullshit and doesn't tell you where to go at any time. If we go to the music once again, it's all pretty bad, with a lot of Ness twang. Would I recommend Shenron No Nazo? Only to the most hardcore of masochists. If you can beat this game without cheating, then you're pretty much Xeno himself. But if you're like me and don't want to suffer, you could always play this patch that removes the draining health, makes the game a little bit less painful. I hope this is the lowest part in our journey, and that's all uphill from here. Next time we're going to be looking at Dragon Ball Daimo Fututsuka. Daimo Fukatsu. Dragon Ball Daimo Futatsu. Dragon Ball Daimo Fukatsu. Fukatsu. Dragon Ball Daimo Fukatsu, the first of the Dragon Ball RPGs, and we'll actually be able to read it. Thanks for watching, and see you guys next time on the Dragon Ball Retrospective.